Well, survivors who have been speaking to medical providers are the ones who experienced really horrific acts of sexual violence. We know that they were raped by multiple perpetrators, sometimes involving up to 5 RSF fighters at the same time. We know that these RSF, the Rapid Support Forces, they also seized women and girls from their homes, from the streets, from their workplaces. They detained them and confined them for periods of time. They were willing to even sexually assault women and girls in front of their family members, which adds to the trauma suffered by these survivors and victims because it compounds the stigma and other social consequences for them. And in fact, we heard of a case of a mother and her 4 daughters who were raped in front of their father and brothers. And they were not able to leave their home because the Rapid Support Forces kept them under a sort of house arrest. They were raped repeatedly for days. And one of the young women, the daughters, ended up being pregnant because of the ordeal.
What does the international law say, Akshaya, when it comes to sexual violence? And can those involved in these acts from the RSF be charged?
They absolutely should be charged. They should be charged under Sudanese law, but also under international law. We know that the International Criminal Court has a jurisdiction over some parts of Sudan, which is Darfur, and unfortunately, these same Rapid Support Forces, particularly the men in command, have been responsible for fighters perpetrating sexual violence in Darfur as well. So this is one pathway to justice and accountability, but we need to keep our eyes clear. These men have been perceiving sexual violence as a crime with no consequence, and the international community must speak out and change that perception. They should be willing to impose sanctions on those individuals who have been responsible for sexual violence to immediately change their behavior.
And since releasing this report, have you had any reactions from the United Nations and the African Union?
Well, we have been in touch with senior officials at the United Nations, and unfortunately, what they tell us is that our reports match their reports and findings, and our conclusions, particularly on the lack of access to service and on the role of the Sudanese armed forces also in obstructing the delivery of humanitarian aid and making it harder for these women to access the services they need, match their understanding. And so our advocacy is focused both on accountability and justice for these survivors, for what they experienced, but also to address the true dearth of supplies of psychosocial care, of health care that are facing these women and girls right now.
Quickly, Akshaya, have you raised this issue with the RSF and have they responded?
We sent our findings to the Rapid Support Forces, and they did respond to us in writing. They did not take responsibility for the actions of their fighters, and they have not acknowledged the details provided in this report. So their response is wholly inadequate, and it's simply one of many denials that they have issued in the face of mounting evidence.
Thank you so much, Akshaya, for sharing this with us.